Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Just Beyond. This is a anthology series that has just been removed from Disney Plus. I'll get to that in a second. It is from 2021. It's one season. It's 8 episodes, each of them about 45 minutes long or so each. And if you're watching this right now, odds are you cannot watch it anymore. Why? Well, I think it's been canceled already, and that pretty much prompted Disney Plus, along with, like 40 plus different shows, specials, documentaries, and movies to be removed for financial reasons, I'm guessing. I get all sorts of different reasons for it, but all I know is there's a long list available on various sites, repeatedly being updated, and maybe people make enough noise, it won't be canceled by the time you watch this, but I'm going to tell you about it. But just say that if you did like this show and you wanted more, or you wanted to find it somewhere else, hopefully they'll release it on a Blu-ray, 4K, whatever, hard format, downloadable somewhere else. I don't know. They might make it available at another time, or they might just bring it back if enough people make enough noise. There's a number of things that have been brought back as a result of people getting real ticked off at these decisions, and that's understandable, especially with Willow from the other day. That's my big thing. But you know what? I really like this one too. It's an anthology, and yes, every episode is its own story. It's separate, and I only watched one episode. It stars McKenna Grace and Nassim Pedrad from Saturday Night Live. And this is kind of really interesting. I don't know where I've seen McKenna Grace before. Where is she from? What have I seen her on? I think she might have been, wasn't she some smart girl in some movie with Chris Evans, or was that a different girl? I don't know. Seems like she's done a lot. Good grief. Okay, so maybe she's a Disney girl. I don't know. Either way, she plays a troubled youth. This is by the way, this is like a Twilight Zone for teens, preteens, young teens kind of thing. But it has some slight mature elements, nothing that would be shocking or horrifying. But let's just say there's layers. There's some texture to the themes that are presented in these, as any good social commentary Twilight Zone episode was. And they don't make any bones about the fact that this is a nice little Twilight Zone genre type series, because, one, anthology, two, at one point McKenna Grace goes do-do-do-do-do-do. I did it very badly, but the Twilight Zone music. She is a girl who is basically came back to school after learning a whole lot of stuff about the world, and she's just become trouble for her parents, and she's getting detention, and she gets not expelled. What's the other thing? She gets kicked out of school for a time, and this upsets her teachers and her principal and the guidance counselor and her parents especially, and they don't know what to do with her. She's very much about the environment and trying to save the world and everything else. She's standing up for things, and she knows that the planet is a pretty crappy place these days. Nobody's doing anything about it, not doing enough. And she has a voice. She has found purpose. Again, she's a young kid, and whether has that beaten out of her through life eventually, as it has done for so many of us, or not, you know how adults tend to get, and then they kind of lose their spirit, and they're like, we have kids now, let them have the spirit. In this, she's still a kid, and she's 14, and her parents decide to send her off to a boarding school for troublesome girls. And this troublesome girls' school is pretty much not what you expect, but pretty much exactly what you would expect from a Twilight Zone type series called Just Beyond. She shows up, and all the girls are dressed the same. All the girls have the same haircut, styled in a kind of a little pompadour kind of thing, very retro. And the teacher, played by Nassim Pedrad, who's playing a very not funny character. She is the headmistress, and she is guiding the parents as they take a little tour of this school, and find that, this is a place that definitely might just put some sense into our girl and just not have her be so rebellious and free thinking and everything else. She's just too much trouble. Yeah, kids can be that way. Especially when they have a mind of their own, and then especially if they're women. So, what happens to McKenna? Well, I should say her name is Veronica in this, sorry. McKenna Grace. She's Veronica. Veronica is, she doesn't necessarily fit in. She gets to see the school. You get the idea that these kids are brainwashed. I'm going to spoil that part. You kind of get the idea, because a lot of these girls, I thought there was a school for troublesome girls. None of these girls seem troublesome at all. They seem all perfectly normal and well-behaved, and there's certain strange rules, like no music allowed, no whistling, you can't have gum. Some of these things are like maybe standard things, gum. But music? No music? No creative expression? No Green Day? Yeah, Green Day. Green Day actually plays a fairly big part in this episode that I watched. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil that, but Green Day. So, yeah, is she going to rage against the machine? Absolutely, she's going to do it. And that's not a Green Day. It's not a Green Day reference. That's a Rage Against the Machine reference. But yeah, she sees something's going on, and she finds a kindred spirit moving amongst them. And what can she do? What can she do to stand against the oppressors, against the people who are looking to take away her voice, her opinion, her choice? Sounds familiar. I don't know. What could they be referring to in so many ways? I mean, there's certain places that try to reform kids from their sinful ways. Maybe force them. Maybe brainwash them. This is not a too big step from reality. This is, of course, I don't want to say it's not satire or parody. It is definitely... It's definitely poking the right bears, let's just say. It definitely knows what it's talking about. I'm sure anybody who is anywhere familiar with the state of the rights of any women, or possibly girls who are not conforming to liking the same people they're supposed to like, well, here you go. This is exactly it. Without any of those things up front, it's just the subtext. So yeah, by the way, this is from a series of anthology, a series of comics, graphic novels from Boom Studios, which I think is owned by Disney. They own everything else. They publish a number of Disney comics and graphic novels. So if they're not owned by them, they pretty much have a big stake in the company, or at least they did. In this, a lot of these stories are based on the writings of R.L. Stine, so it has a definite horror for kids, horror, sci-fi genre kind of feel. And of course, again, Twilight Zone, they're not hiding it. It was very much a huge influence. The first one was, I think, directed by Mark Webb. Didn't he do the Amazing Spider-Man films? I think so. Yeah. It's kind of cool. So yeah, it's you're going to get a whole bunch of different casts with each episode, with each thing. So the story with Veronica, as McKenna Grace as Veronica, that story is just first episode. I don't know if they would revisit it, because I think it's canceled. But there's a different story. I'll tell you, give you a little hint, a little preview. The first one's Leave Them Kids Alone, which makes sense. Parents are from Mars, kids are from Venus. Which? My Monster, Unfiltered, We Got Spirits, Yes We Do, Standing Up for Yourself, and The Treehouse. This is, again, focused towards an audience of young teens, but I enjoyed it. I think it's well put together with a good cast. It looks solid. It could be cheesy. It could be really goosebumpy. No, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't go for that. I mean, there's room for all that, all those genres of horror and campy or otherwise horror and stuff like that for kids. And kids can enjoy horror and sci-fi and all sorts of genre stuff. Doesn't have to be full tilt kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be midsummer. So it's, yeah, this is I think I recommend it if you could watch it. Again, this is a series of chosen things that I'm watching just to say that I watched them prior to it being gone. So yes, I am watching these in advance. I'm just chugging through as many as I can, and I've already forgotten what we're watching next. It's a movie. Dang it. Totally blanked out. But yeah, you won't be able to watch that either. So I'm going to put this to you. Contact Disney Plus. If you love something and you want to share it with people, through Disney Plus, tell Disney Plus. Or just tell Disney in general, where can I get a hold of this copy so you can't take it away from me again, so I can have it in my own home in digital disc format or something, or even have it downloadable through whatever official proper service. I'm sure there's plenty of illegal ways to get it, but there's plenty of also legal ways. But yeah, so tell them what you think. Don't have to be rude. It's rude they took them away, but this is a lot of. I think this could have the potential to have been really, really good. But of course, they also canceled, not Disney, but Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone was also canceled already too. So good thing Black Mirror's back. Hold on a second. I got to remind myself. No edits. 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 Okay, now I know what we're gonna watch. Don't know why I completely forgot. It's a long list of things that are being removed. Thankfully, we watched most of them already. And there's like only 6 or 7 that are story-based. There's a number of National Geographic stuff that I don't know if I'm going to get to. As of me recording this, I don't know. There's some pretty long ones that thankfully are not sharks or mummies. We had a lot of those. They're not taking away the sharks and mummies as far as I know. And again, Disney Plus takes stuff off the service all the time. So I know I'm probably going to say this through each one of the episodes. I'm going to probably hopefully fine-tune it down to a shorter bit every single time. But yes, by the time you watch this, you can't. So my recommendations are hollow unless you find a way to hunt these down on your own on different services or formats, or somebody might pick them up. I don't know. Like, you can't watch the first 2 X-Men movies on Disney Plus anymore. They were there. I watched X2 just a couple months ago. And I know that the first X-Men is still in this list. It could be randomly picked, but I can't watch it if it's there. It probably won't come back until 2024. In this case, all this stuff might be gone forever because of changes. So, fight for the things you love. And maybe they'll bring back Willow. It's sort of canceled, but sometimes people say not. I don't know. Maybe it'll find a new home. Maybe Just Beyond can find a new home. If nothing else, you got 8 episodes. I really want to watch the rest of them now. Because I've seen some of the cast members. Tim Heidecker. Come on, what's her name? From Tim and Eric. Oh yeah, Ricky Lindholm. I mean, these are the adult actors that I know. I don't know any of these kids. I don't know who they are. But the adult actors that appear in this, and they all deal with issues that teens deal with, whether it's body image things, fighting with parents, all these kind of things. Again, all brought into the realm of genre storytelling. So I say find a way to check this out some other way if Disney Plus won't give it to you. By any means necessary. Okay, tomorrow we're going to be watching Magic Camp. Yes. What's his name? Adam. I already forgot his last name. Adam. He's on the different show that is definitely not going to be on Disney Plus. He's been on a few shows that are definitely not for Disney Plus, but you might recognize him from Pitch Perfect and a few other things. But if you're a kid, anyway. But yeah, tomorrow Magic Camp is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.